I have got some ghost stories for you.
I feel something crawl into the bed with me and it starts to spoon me.
There was a time where I would be in bed falling asleep and I would hear my name being called. Different voices call my name.
Poof, the person disappeared right in front of our eyes.
And we were both like, did you see that?
There was this figure of a woman. Her skin was bluish and her hands were clawed and her mouth was wide open.
So that is my ghost story.
Hi, and welcome to Haunted AF, the podcast of real ghost stories told by real people. We are your hosts. I'm Julie Fisk.
And I'm Rebecca Black.
And tonight is our Halloween episode. Woo! We're so excited. We've already been drinking.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, warning, heads up, guys. Coming up, we've got a pro wrestler's ghost story from the Bronx.
Is this our friend TJ?
It isn't. It's
really
a new one.
A
new one. Nick, he's adorable.
I love that we're a hit with the wrestlers.
I know. And we've got some freaky dreams to dissect.
Yay.
Y'all have been providing so many great dreams. And would you believe we have another alien finger story?
No way.
No, true story. Yeah. We're also, well, hopefully it's not a true story. Anyhow, okay. We're also going to chat with the host of one of our favorite new podcasts, Kit and Rory from This Paranormal Life.
Yeah, but first we have to talk
Happy Halloween. Woo. And I had to take off. I mean, we weren't wearing costumes.
We weren't.
No, I put on some nails that we were supposed to wear to a costume party that we were going to go to.
Right.
And that got canceled. And the nails are stressing me out so much I had to take them off.
You literally cannot function with them.
No. Everything that we plan to do for Halloween is kind of like falling apart.
I know, which is really sad.
Yeah, it is. But we still have scary stories.
Of course.
And you brought haunted wine.
I did bring haunted wine. Are we going to talk about this right now?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. You guys, Landon Winery in McKinney.
I didn't know.
Yeah, apparently it is a haunted winery.
No, seriously?
Seriously. I will say, however, I've been several times and I do not recall. Are we cheersing?
Cheers. Oh, and you've got your tumbler. Yay.
Of course. I've been several times. I'm not 100% convinced that it is haunted.
Right.
However, the story, so it used to be before it was a winery, it was like a soda fountain shop in downtown McKinney or whatever. And this couple, apparently they were not divorced yet, but they were pretty much separated. And she had already been kind of seeing another guy. The husband saw her and her little boyfriend eating at the soda fountain, and he walked in, killed them, and then turned himself into the sheriff's station across the street.
Oh.
And the staff at the Landon can point out the exact spot and often report phantom figures at closing time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I need more details on that, though.
Well, at least we have some haunted wine to share. And
I hope we're not drinking the ghost.
Oh, gross. That's a weird thing to think about.
Drinking the paranormal.
Okay. And before we go any further, I personally would like to revisit Tanya's creepy light in the Salem Cemetery from 2 episodes ago. Okay. We didn't get any feedback on that. And well, okay, that's not true. Somebody who lives near Salem verified that that little cemetery actually exists, but no one has had any thoughts on the light. So
interesting.
I thought that light was so cool because it looks almost like a reflection, but it's on the inside of the bar.
Right.
So, okay, have another look at that. Let us know what you think. But we do have stories for you.
We do. And this one comes from our longtime friend and listener, Alicia. Hi, Alicia. And she says, hi, Julie and Rebecca. I think I finally have a ghost story I can share. So for the last couple of months, I've been in and out of the hospital. The last time, though, I swear my bed was haunted. The first night I was there, I heard someone talking and I thought maybe I'd hit the call button by accident. I woke up my mom, but she said she didn't hear anything. Then the second night, it happened again, but it was a female voice. It was happening so fast that I couldn't be sure what exactly it was saying, except on Sunday night. Then I heard it say, it's been 3 days. The freaky part is that I'd been in the hospital for 3 days at that point.
Yikes.
Each time it happened around 2:00 in the morning. Even my mom said the room was haunted. From Alicia.
Oh, Alicia.
Woo. I hope you're okay, Alicia.
I know. Okay.
Are getting better.
Yeah. Alicia has been a friend of ours for years.
Yeah.
She's been a listener. She comments on every single episode. So please keep in touch. Let us know how things are going. All right. This next story comes from Nick. He's our new friend,
Yay,
the wrestler.
Nick. Hello, ladies. My name is Nick, and I'm just excited. I found your podcast through a friend, and your podcast really gets me through my 7 to 13-hour drives when I'm on my way to shows. I have been in pro wrestling for 20 years. So My mother told me the story about my Theo Danny. He's no longer with us. He passed away in a car accident along with my grandmother and aunt back in 94. She told me that he was sleeping on her couch one night and he woke up to dark shadows surrounding him. Now, my mother is not one to believe in ghosts unless it's the Holy Ghost. And mind you, I grew up in the Bronx, New York. You don't hear a lot of ghost stories. So hearing this was like a shock to me. So, anyways, my uncle saw these dark shadows, told my mother. The following day, my mother comes home and there's a bunch of people in my mom's apartment blessing the house, trying to get the bad spirits away, a little bit of the ba fuera, boy fuera, go, go. And my mother just yelled and got everybody out the house, especially my uncle, because she thought he was crazy. Many years later, my baby sister has gotten older, and she never got to meet my Theo Danny because she was a newborn when he passed. She told me that one night, my brother and I were sleeping on a mattress on the floor, and she woke up and saw this dark shadow standing in the corner of the room. She thought it was my brother and I, so she called out our names, but we didn't answer. So it was coming towards her, and then she just got up, ran through it, and turned on the light, and it was gone. Mind you, my mother still lives in this apartment to this day. It's been like almost 40 years. My mother still lives there. And that building has a lot of death. A lot of things have happened, a lot of negative things. And you know what? Bonus one. There was a time where I was training in New Jersey and I was waiting for a friend. So I got there early and I'm in the ring, just training, running ropes, doing, what wrestlers do. And I heard somebody go, "Can I get next?" And I was like, yeah. I looked up thinking it was my friend. Didn't think anything of it. So I continued. About 15 minutes passed. And then my friend walks in and I was like, "Yo, where you been?" He goes, "I just got here." And I'm just like, "No, because I heard you say, 'Hey, can I get next?'" And then he was like, "No, I just got here." So come to find out, I was the only one in the building. Thank you for the podcast. Keep it going. I have so many more stories if you ladies want to listen. Yeah.
That's so freaky because, I don't know. I always think it's like those old school boxing rings.
Yes.
And it's like it's all brick walls.
Yes.
And being the only one in there at night.
Yes.
Ew, it's so
and he's
creepy.
like bouncing off of the sides of it.
Like
and
I can
everything.
hear all the noises and everything.
But couldn't you just see a ghost being like,
yeah, I got next.
I got next.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, all right, just a minute. I love that story. And I also love the idea of Nick riding around, going from show to show and listening to us.
I know. That's so sweet.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Nick.
All right. Our next one comes from Amy. Hi there, ladies. First of all, you are my favorite podcast to listen to.
Thank you.
You make me so happy. So I was around 10 years old when my Girl Scout troop visited the Golden Lamb Hotel, which is the oldest continuously running hotel in Ohio. Many famous people have stayed there, so you can roam the top 3 floors and see the rooms named after celebrities. Some of the rooms were open when we visited, so we could see how they were decorated back in the 1800s. The girls and I wandered into an open room and found the bathroom was closed off with a red velvet rope. Well, of course, we all just stepped right over that rope and crammed right in. I would have done the same.
Girl Scouts?
Yeah. I was the last one in the bathroom. And when I stepped in, one of the girls flung open the shower curtain. Inside was a girl about our age standing in the clawfoot bathtub. She had shoulder-length brown wavy hair and was wearing a white nightgown.
Of course.
But she was covering her face like she was playing hide and seek.
Oh my gosh.
They all started screaming and running, but I just stared at her. She wasn't transparent at all. In fact, I thought she was a real girl, which is why I wasn't scared. Then I realized I was alone and ran away too.
Dang.
Yeah, I would have run away as well.
This hotel is amazing. Like if
Yeah.
you look at it, you're like, that place is definitely haunted.
Oh, I love that.
This next one comes from David. Hi, ladies. Love the show. Been listening since the Chris Jericho interview, but
Yeah.
I've never had anything happen to warrant getting in touch. Well, before now. I live in the UK in a city called Birmingham. Absolute shithole, by the way. That's his words, not mine.
We did not say it.
Nope. But this morning at 6 a.m., it was beautiful. The skies were clear and I could see every star, planet, space station, and everything else that's up there. About 5 minutes into my morning dog walk, I noticed a moving star. It was going in a straight line about the speed of an in-flight airplane. Anyway, I carried on walking and admiring the star for another 10 or so minutes while it was still moving across the sky. Then this thing just stops dead. That's funny. I said to myself out loud. And then I absolutely shit you not, the star fires back in the direction it came from, but probably going 3 times the speed it was traveling before. Then it was completely out of sight. Now, my wife said it was probably a shooting star, but the change of speed and direction kills that theory. Of course, I didn't have my phone on me, so no footage, but the northern lights were visible in the UK last night, so maybe ET came for a look.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I know it's not the most compelling story, but I just thought I would share. Keep up the amazing work. You're both incredible. And that is from David. Thank you. We don't get enough UFO stories.
We really don't.
Or whatever that was.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm in agreement with him. The way if it's going one direction and then suddenly shoots back in the other, that can't be a shooting star.
How could that be a shooting star?
It can't be.
Okay. So our friend Scott has been Scott he's a fan of Haunted AF, and he's been sharing the most amazing theme songs with us. Lots of really great Dead Pet of the Week theme songs that we're going to be sharing in the few coming weeks. In fact, if you guys have Dead Pet stories, please share them. But here's a new one. Rebecca, you have not heard this yet.
Did you dream of a haunted hall or a vampire's sultry call? Maybe ghosts were having tea or zombies dancing merrily. From spooky sights to steamy nights, your dreams take flight in eerie lights. A haunted house or a vampire spree will tell you what it needs to be. In the world of dreams we know all the secrets lie beyond the pillow.
Okay, so we have a new dream segment, of course.
That is a jam, isn't it? That is an R&B slow jam. Usher.
The Beyond the Pillow song.
That is the sexiest ghosty song in existence.
I've listened to that like 20 times.
Oh my God, Julie might have a problem.
I might have a problem with the Beyond the Pillow theme song.
I'm going to come over here one afternoon and I'm going to hear that song jamming and I'm going to be like, I'm going to know not to go in.
For the record, we will go ahead and post that on our Patreon page for patrons to go and listen. Because I'm sorry.
That is so good.
I know right now you want to hear it again.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play it. I'm going to post it on the page.
Oh, Scott.
Scott, you're so good.
You're sexy too.
And by the way, we can't pay this guy. So in exchange, please go check out his page. He actually has a gaming company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's archosaurtt.com. And we'll post a link in the blog or in the companion blog so you guys can go and check it out.
That's so good.
Isn't that great? And he has multiple of those, and he has multiple Dead Pet of the Week theme songs that he's been sending.
You did send me the Dead Pet ones, and you were like, you must listen to all of these right this minute. And I did. I stopped everything I was doing and was like, click, 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 listening to all of them.
Every single one was like, that is the best thing I've ever heard.
And I know he said that the metal one was going to be my favorite, but no, there's the first one is Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Oh my God. It's ska.
It's so good.
I know.
It's so good.
And we actually I think we have a ska version of the Beyond the Pillow. And we did have a different name for this segment. But then we found out that Dream Detectives has already been taken by multiple things.
Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's pretty common.
And after hearing Beyond the Pillow, I'm like,
done,
no,
sold.
this is it.
Beyond the Pillow it is.
So it is time for dream analysis.
Yeah, here we go. And this first one comes from Carrie. Hey, friends. I was listening to your episode about reoccurring dreams, and I need to share my experience with you. When I was a teenager, I lived in a house that had some very oppressive spirits. A lot of really scary things happened in the short year that we lived there. About 10 years after I had moved out, I had the same exact dream 5 nights in a row. I dreamt there was a family living in my old house and that I needed to go warn them about an evil spirit that was going to kill their baby.
Damn.
That's intense. This dream continued every night that week. And by Thursday, I was so exhausted that one of my coworkers said I had to go to the house and warn them.
Ugh.
Like, can you even imagine how psychotic that would be to have someone come to your house and tell you this?
No.
But by Friday, I was so distraught that I literally couldn't think of anything else. My coworker convinced me to go and even agreed to come with me. I was trembling when I got out of the car. But girls, no one lived there.
No.
Oh my God. The house was empty. It's been years since this happened, and I'm still convinced that the oppressive spirits were luring me back to that house. I attached a picture of it because, ew, it even looks scary AF.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to read my story. Reach out if you'd like to know more about the scary shit that happened when I lived there. Yes, of course we do. Love you both. Carrie from KC.
Yeah, she did share a picture. And yes, Carrie, we do want to hear more. But okay, we fed that dream into the AI dream interpreter to see if maybe the house was not trying to lure you back in. So
But it is. Sorry.
The
I'm like, it is.
The dream interpreter said dreaming about your old house can symbolize a return to past experiences or memories, while babies represent something new and vulnerable. So the presence of a demon trying to harm a baby might represent fears you have about something new and precious that you are worried is being threatened.
Okay.
So like, what could the baby represent to you personally? Because it's like, think about it. Whenever you have these dreams, even though we take it literally, it really isn't. It's like our brain taking something.
Right.
Maybe.
I assume like baby means maybe like a new job on the horizon,
right,
or something like that.
Or a new relationship,
Yeah.
or some new project that you're on. Or maybe like it is real and the people are in there now and they just hadn't moved in yet. And Carrie, you have to go back to the house and warn them.
Leave
like,
notes on the wall.
Yeah. It's like, by the way, sorry. I know. Probably shouldn't say they're going to kill your baby. Okay, hang on.
Leave a note on the wall. Like, it's fucking creepy as shit. Like, in red lipstick, please. Like, we give terrible advice.
No, we do. It's like on the screened in porch door. It's like, by the way, they're trying to kill your baby.
Trying to kill your baby.
Bye. Love your plants. Okay.
All right. This next one comes from Mike. Hey, ladies. At 17, I joined the Army and received basic training at Fort Worth, Leonard Wood, Missouri.
No, it's not Fort Worth. It's
not. You're so right. There's no Fort Worth in there.
It's all Fort Worth to us.
That is a Texas habit right there. At Fort Leonard. I almost did it again.
Is it
at Fort
Leonard Wood?
Yeah.
Missouri.
At Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. One night I fell asleep and had a dream of a beautiful pale-skinned woman with flowing black hair. I'm like, oh, is that me?
Is that, yes.
Is that me? It could also be Julie. You have dark hair too.
It's not flowing though. It's pretty short.
She was floating down towards me from above, smiling out of the blackness. God, I don't like that at all. She wore a see-through black. Okay. She wore a see-through black gown and you're just figuring out now. It's like, no, this is sexy. It is a sexy dream. She wore a see-through black gown and was the embodiment of sexy. So of course I welcomed her. So I've questioned whether it was a dream because it was so clear. It felt like this woman stole a part of my soul. Years later, I learned about a succubus and wondered if it possibly harmed me spiritually. Have you ever heard of any other men who have experienced this? Mike. Okay, Mike, thank you so much for sharing that experience. I love that. Actually, our friend who owns the Painted Lady in Albuquerque had a succubus experience, but that one turned kind of ugly. Yeah, if I remember correctly. But the AI dream analysis says this could indicate an exploration of your own attraction to something that feels out of reach or risky. And the fact that she floated down from the ceiling might suggest that this desire feels almost unattainable. It might also indicate feelings of being caught in a relationship that feels intoxicating but possibly harmful. Or that maybe makes sense. Yeah, or maybe it was just like a lonely ghost girl who came to you looking for like some attention, and now she's like, "Why you gotta call me a succubus?" Like, I thought we were in a relationship. We had fun. Like, I want to get married. Don't. When are you gonna propose? Oh, wait, this one's for you. Oh, good. I've got more. Yes. So one more dream story, guys. Hello, ladies. I love listening to your podcast while doing homework, and I almost fell over when I heard about the ET finger dream. Get ready. Get ready. Let me tell you about my dream that happened over 20 years ago. I was sleeping next to my husband and had this incredible pain in my left ear. Pain like I've never had before or since. And I'm not prone to ear infections. I was tossing and turning because the pain was so intense. And when I started to wake up, there were 5 or 6 aliens with the almond eyes in spacesuits standing around me. They were looking at me and telepathically saying, "She is waking up." Then the pain subsided and I fell back to sleep. It was around this time that I conceived my daughter, who I'm happy to report is fully human. Thank you, Lord, baby Jesus.
Are we sure about this?
I don't know. I was really hoping this was a dream, but now I'm not so sure. Thanks again, B. Holy cow. Can we test her daughter?
I don't
DNA somethings?
I don't know, but the alien ear probe dream thing. So, okay.
She could go on Maury and find out who the father is.
So in your alien probe dream, was it in your left ear or your right?
Left ear.
It was left. So both of them left
Same.
ear. Oh,
freaky.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't like that at all.
But for the record, we want to hear all of your weird, freaky dreams, even though they're traumatizing us.
They really are.
hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com. So we've been so excited this week getting to talk to some of our favorite podcasters. We just spoke with Cassie and Danielle from National Park After Dark, which was awesome. Go listen if you haven't. And we're thrilled now to introduce two more podcasters. It's Kit and Rory from This Paranormal Life. You cram so much into one show. So you tell the story, you do history, you do research, and then you do dramatizations, which are amazing. Yeah. And it's
Thank you.
You will do your dramatizations and then you come back and shit on your own dramatizations, which I think is fantastic. But then you will go and actually explore some of these places that you're talking about and decide if they're haunted or not. So welcome to the show. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot to do for one podcast. And I see you guys just launched new shorter episodes, your campfires.
Yeah.
That's Rebecca and I both were listening to the one about David Bowie yesterday.
With David Bowie, we always knew, I suppose, he was like an esoteric guy, pretty unusual guy, eloquent. And in his interviews, sometimes he would go to strange places. He would, he made this kind of bizarre and spot on kind of prophecy about the future of the internet. He was a forward thinking guy. What I didn't realize was that he was a full on paranormal enthusiast. It came to light that he worked for like a UFO magazine at some point in England, and like he had later on his own kind of paranormal experiences in Los Angeles in his home. Rory seemed to think that maybe these paranormal experiences were enhanced, let's say, by the kind of heady drug-fueled days of the 80s and the glitz and glamour of the music industry.
Honestly, if I was going to pick an alien on Earth, it would be David Bowie. Like, listen to his music.
Undercover alien.
Yeah.
One of you pointed out in the episode that Bowie was born in the same year that the Roswell crash happened.
That's right.
That's right. Well, was that 1947? Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, that's not a coincidence. It was him. It was him.
Right. It's like, now we know where the aliens went. It's like they became Ziggy Stardust. Like that.
Yeah, he was hiding in plain sight because he told us that I'm an alien. I'm an alien pop star. And we were like, oh, Bowie.
Honestly, now I'm kind of thinking, I'm rethinking his death. I don't think he's actually dead. I think he just zapped up on into space and was like, these people are just too stupid to understand me.
No one understood me. He's talking to his fellow singing aliens.
You were both comedians. How did y'all find each other? How did this marriage happen?
We actually grew up together in the same tiny fishing town back in Northern Ireland, believe it or not. I know my accent is maybe a little bit misleading, but we did both grow up in Northern Ireland, and we spent our whole childhoods together trying to make each other laugh. So when 8 years ago, we ended up living in London in the same city, we knew we wanted to do something together. And we'd always been huge fans of comedy and improv comedy and storytelling. So we wanted to start a podcast together that kind of allowed us to kind of scratch that creative itch. And after a bit of workshopping different ideas about what the podcast could be about, we settled on the paranormal, and we never looked back. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's such a fun topic to talk about every week.
You guys have been to some seriously famous haunted locations, and I'm curious to know, do you guys think any of them are truly haunted?
That's a good question. The most recent one we did was we went to Edinburgh in Scotland. And we went down into the vaults that were built below the city. And there's tons of paranormal activity that allegedly has taken place there. And we took a bunch of our gear, the spirit box, the EMF radars, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if I was necessarily convinced by the end of that expedition, but I will say last year we did a bit of a tour across America doing some live performances of the podcast. And at the end of that tour, I actually got the opportunity to go to Salem, Massachusetts, which was, the home of the witch trials. And I mean, that is a town that very heavily leans into its history, but I don't know. There's something in the air there. You really do feel it. It's really seeped into the stones and the buildings. And yeah, I definitely got some paranormal vibes from that place.
We need you guys' origin story. Like, how did you guys decide paranormal was the route you're going to go down? And have either of you two had paranormal experiences, like personal ones, that sort of sparked it?
Growing up here in Ireland, we went to secondary school, what you guys would call high school, in like a castle on a cliff edge. It looks like Harry Potter. It was an old convent. All the nuns, touch wood, were gone by the time we got there. But it did have its own kind of haunted stories. So we entered that atmosphere at like 11 years old, never really questioned it. And really the icing on the cake was we had a class for years called Heritage class. And this class was ostensibly supposed to be like Irish heritage, teaching us a bit of Irish language, local stories. You get the idea. Our teacher, I think day one, she just threw the curriculum out the window. She was like, decided to teach what she wanted to teach. And she taught us from a young age about the paranormal, about leprechauns, the banshee, the Doulahan, how to defend yourself from the banshee, how to hog tie a leprechaun and get him to show you where his pot of gold was. It sounds completely absurd, but this is 100% true. Like, and we always just thought she was crazy. We were like, oh, here comes heritage class. We've got to color in a leprechaun, even though we're like 15 years old for some reason. But it goes to show how like the paranormal was like weirdly part of the backdrop of even our childhood.
Okay. What was the name of your high school? Because I want to look it up.
Same.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Dominican College, Port Stewart.
Also, when you practiced hog tying the leprechaun, would you do it like on the smallest person in class, or were you doing it on Kat?
It was Rory.
It was me, unfortunately. I was a late bloomer puberty-wise. Yeah.
Yeah. Despite being born in America, he was the exact proportions of a leprechaun. The hat fit him, the little outfit fit him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all went to Hogwarts.
I know, that just sounds like the best class ever.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you Google that school, it's not going to disappoint.
Oh, we're looking it up. Absolutely. It's going to right now on the YouTube. There's a picture of the school. So, so in all of your investigations, what do you think is famous haunted location is 100% not haunted and just making a buck?
I don't know necessarily if we ever come down firmly on locations, because locations, it might be one story from that area is fictional, but there could be more. I think more often or not, we're looking at individuals and individual stories, and there's always a couple red flags that you start to see once you've been investigating the paranormal for so long. For example, if the guy who says that he saw a UFO the next week is selling books, doing conventions, all these kind of things, we're like, all right, well, these are red flags to us. And those are typically the kind of cases where we'd be a bit more skeptical and say, I don't necessarily think that he's being completely truthful about his experience. But I don't know, if there's ever been any locations that we said definitely aren't paranormal.
What do you guys think? Have you ever just publicly outed someone and just been like, I'm calling bullshit?
No, we have not.
You count Zach Baggins?
Whoa, shots fired.
Hell yeah. Cheers to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do demon talk. We don't talk about psychic stuff like that.
No.
We try to just keep it to just straight experiences. But I will say, I went to Roswell, New Mexico for one of their big anniversaries. And it was one of the most disappointing situations I've ever been in. Walking around that day, I just remember feeling like this is a small town that is making a ton of money off of something that happened 70 years ago. And it was very disappointing because, you know, like you mentioned with Salem, there are some places you walk into and you feel it in your bones, you know. I'll say when I lived in New Mexico, like Santa Fe and Taos and places like that, when you go outside, it's just like this, like you're feeling the history in your skin. And that's awesome. But when you go to a place and you're expecting that feeling and instead they're like, you know, inflatable aliens flying around and people in costume, it's like, oh, this is just a buck, you know? So
yeah, they're trying quite hard. Yeah, I'd say, you know, for example, even our Edinburgh investigation, when we went down into the vaults, you know, that was part of a guided quote unquote ghost tour, where it's kind of what you're saying. The host is dressed up with a candle and a cloak and there's kind of jump scares and it's designed to be a bit of a tourist attraction. Unfortunately, we didn't really feel anything. At the end of our podcast, we said, because we always come down on a conclusion at the end. So our conclusion that week was that it was a double no. But I think even in that case, we're always respecting other people's opinions, ready for our minds to be changed if we have a different experience down there. But yeah, I get your point where it's like when it's right, you do really feel it.
Right. And I'm not saying I don't believe in Roswell. I don't fully understand what happened.
Yeah.
You know,
right. That's good because I was about to leave. Honestly, I was about to excuse myself.
I'm on both sides of that weird ass fence, but it just like when enough time passes, after a while, it's like, you know, all the spooky rubs off or something. Kit and Rory, we love your podcast. I can't encourage everybody enough to go and listen because it is so much fun. And like, you guys really play up the kind of like, you know, goofy dickhead aspect, but you're really smart. And there's a lot of really good information. And we love you both. We're like crushing hard. And the accents.
You guys are way too kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And likewise, I think we love to meet guys like you who have a lighthearted take on the paranormal as well. Like, it's a rare thing, isn't it? So.
Yeah. And I do have to say, I love your podcast so much. It pisses me off a little bit because I'll be listening and I'm like, damn it, they're so funny. Damn it. That was a good impression.
Oh, thank you.
All editing, baby.
Okay, guys, before we go, we got to start trick-or-treating here.
Obviously.
Right? We've got a handful of appearances this month. You can find them all on our social media. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well because Julie worked really hard on those videos.
Can I just tell you, I keep really breathing very loudly into the microphone tonight.
Oh, that is drunk breath.
Is that what
I've been doing it too because I can hear my own self.
I keep catching myself. Also,
I'm going to need you to edit all of those out.
No,
for both of us.
I'm leaving them in. Also, thanks to Molly from the Dallas Observer for writing an article about us. She was absolutely adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And she even had a really cool ghost story. We're going to have to dig that up. And to Steve and Hannah from the 10 for having us on. But y'all, we had an honest to God glitch situation when we left the Fox 4 studios last week after talking to them.
Yeah. And we kept saying, we're going to tell it on the podcast. And we both forgot.
Yes. So you have to share. You started.
Okay. So we're rolling up to the Fox studios. Me and Julie, we rode together because it's just easier that way. And parking downtown is terrible. And just like with any news organization, they're going to make you sign in your name. They're going to give you a little fancy badge.
And the badges are numbered. That's important.
They are. That is important. I'm glad you
have
said
to sign in with your name and your badge number.
Like, so clearly Julie and I had two different badges. Okay.
Yes.
I put it in my purse. It's like wrapped around my sunglasses. I shove it in the bottom of my bag and I'm like, I'll get it whenever we leave, right?
Because you don't want to wear it on TV.
No, of course not. And we already know we're going to have to turn this in later when we leave.
Right.
So we do our appearance with Steve and Hannah, and it's great and it's wonderful. We're all having a good time. And as we're walking out, we have to go back by the security guard and hand in our badges. You saw me do it. You saw me pull the badge out of my purse.
We both did.
We both did at the same
Badges
time.
down.
Yes. I literally threw mine across at him. I watched him pick it up and take it and put it down and like do his little check mark. Julie, you're right behind me. You do the exact same thing. We get in the car, we talk, and Julie's like, oh, how do you think that went? I was like, oh, I think it went really well.
And I'm like, it was terrible. I looked awful.
No.
Oh my God. Yeah, I do that thing.
You did not. We looked amazing, by the way, on that. I thought we looked great.
We did all right.
Anyway, so we're sitting there talking, and I go to pull my sunglasses out. And as I'm pulling my sunglasses out, I'm not kidding you, that badge was wrapped around my sunglasses in the bottom of my bag. I literally pull it out. It's hanging there. I'm staring at it in silence. Julie's looking at it and I'm like, are you seeing this? And she's like, we had to have picked up an extra one. And I was like, this one's mine. It's 24. The number is 24. That's the one I signed in with. This is the one I signed out with. You saw me hand it to the security guard. She goes, I saw you. And I go, I'm literally like, this is a glitch in the matrix happening right in front of us.
Y'all, Rebecca laid like 3 eggs right there in my front seat. But it's true. It's true. I had no response. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what just happened.
Because I literally had just untangled it from my sunglasses and handed it to the man. This is less than 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. It was very
apart.
Yeah.
And we're back in your car and I'm untangling it again. What the actual hell?
I have no idea. Just another reminder to send your glitch in the matrix stories because they happen every day.
Yeah.
As promised, Haunted AF is going to return next week, and we're going to do so continuously until Thanksgiving because nobody wants ghost stories, after gorging on turkey. But we'll be back after that. Next week, though, we're going to introduce you to a new friend.
Okay.
She wrote in saying, "Ladies, I'm a 42-year-old high school history teacher named Elizabeth.
Oh.
I'm a goth, a witch, and your classic freshly divorced cat lady.
Hell yeah.
You are my new best friend.
Yep.
In May, my little brother and I bought a famous haunted house in Old East Dallas, the Thomas and Mary Shields house.
Okay.
I think it would be a great subject for your awesome podcast. It has 3 deaths inside the house. The most recent was in 2022, and the house's reputation for ghosts is justly deserved. The rule of 3 continues to apply because there are 3 ghosts. You've got Mary Shields, the most recent owner, Doug, who has physically appeared to me, to Elizabeth,
I guess,
and a little boy on the stairs. And here's the Facebook page if you're curious. So hit me up. And that's from Elizabeth.
We actually reached out to Elizabeth and she said we can come tape an episode there, which is exactly what we're going to do next week.
Yes!
I'm so excited about this.
I know. I'm so jazzed. In the meantime, send all those scary stories our way. If there's a dream that's been scaring the crap out of you, we want to hear about it. Just write it down or record it and then send that in your scary stories to hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com so we can use them on the next Haunted AF. And by the way, happy Halloween!